All right, there we go. Hi, everyone. My name is Jason Mellett from Camps with Friends. And today I've got Manny from Solari Swim School here in the colony in Texas. Welcome, Manny. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and a little bit about your swim school?
Hey, Jason, thanks for having us. And thank you for to Camps with Friends. We are Solari Swim School. We are a local swim school that operates out of the colony. We teach individualized swimming lessons to all ages and abilities, including children who are infants, babies. We start at ages 6 months all the way to the age of 3. Once that age continues, we go into more of advanced levels for 3 to 7 year olds in the water. Our main focus is to teach kids how to swim and how to swim properly for both their enrichment, but also for water safety. We believe that swimming is a great opportunity for kids to learn a life skill, a skill that's going to enrich their lives and help them. But swimming also creates an opportunity for growth and physical development. And so we think swimming is a perfect way for kids to grow into strong kids, but also confident in what they do. Water safety is very important, and as you know, we have lots of opportunities for water activities here in North Texas. And likewise, there's always a risk for danger. So we feel that swimming and learning to swim is a great prevention for any sort of incident. Um, Likewise, swimming is also an opportunity for kids to learn a sport. We develop skills like back floating, front strokes, backstrokes, and then also leading into all four of the main swim strokes. So we definitely start with water safety, water comfort, and our classes lead into more of a developmental and swim development sort of training for kids. We always progress. So your kids, when they're in our classes, we take in where they're at and we meet them there. But our goal is to teach them to swim and progress through all the skills. So swimming definitely for kids that are in different situations, different ability levels. Some kids are riskier than others. Some kids take more of a chance, but we work with all types of personalities, all types of abilities. We specialize in also teaching kids that are anxious in the water, who are nervous, and who have not had success doing swimming lessons at other swim schools. So our approach is a little more of a one-on-one or two-on-one ratio. We do a lot of individualized classes, and we definitely take the time to teach kids the proper swim techniques, whether it's breath control, whether it's balancing, motor skill, and overall having fun in the water and making sure that they learn to swim properly.
Yeah, that's
So
really great. Um, Manny, why don't you tell me a little bit about sort of just your background, your history, and how you came into founding Solari Swim School?
Sure. I started teaching swimming actually as a high school job. I was going to high school at the city of Coppell back in the late '90s, and swimming was something that I used to do recreationally. But I found a job teaching, and through that experience, it opened up a possibility for me to do that. Later in life, I opened up my own swim school about 10 to 12 years ago here in North Dallas, here in the North Texas area. And so we've been in business for over 12 years,
Uh-huh.
and teaching here in this area. We definitely see the value in having experienced instructors. It took me quite a while to really understand the dynamics of um, teaching kids how to swim, not just physically, but also through changing their attitude about what swimming is supposed to be like, and changing their attitude about it. So it's been quite a road working with different opportunities, different facilities. But we opened up Solari Swim School, and are happy to have a different opportunity for people to find a place to learn to swim here in Texas.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about the location and where exactly you are and your flexibility around that. Are you kind of mobile? Do you go to people's houses as well, or are you just at one specific location?
We primarily operate out of the La Quinta Inn location that's in the Colony, right behind the Walmart off of 121 and Main. That location has an indoor pool that we teach both through the year, through the winter and the spring, and also in the summer and into the fall. Now, in the summer, we do have options for our instructors to travel to people's homes. We are in the Colony, Carrollton, Coppell, Little Elm area, and that's where we have mobile lessons. So if you're interested in having your instructor come to your home to teach your kids, we can definitely set that up in the summer months. But
Right.
primarily, we teach year round. We have classes that are going on after school from 4 to 7 p.m. during the week. And we find that that's a very convenient time for people to bring their kids for swimming lessons. Our classes are set up 30 minutes once a week, or twice a week. Some people do two times a week, but it's a weekly experience that we think is very good to find the time to do. And 30 minutes a day for once a week really develops a skill over time.
That's great. Do you do, just to sort of touch this base, do you do any kind of camps, summer camps, Thanksgiving camps, fall, spring break, anything like that? Or is your focus kind of one-on-one essentially?
We do definitely do camps more so in the summer. We are looking to open up a little more of morning camps for swimmers, and also we've been asked to do more continuous camps with 2-week intensives, and also swim clinics for kids who are trying to enter into a swim team. So kids who are looking to perfect their strokes or learn a little bit about more stamina development. So we do swim team prep classes in the summer, and we're also looking into opening up some other camps, which includes science. We think science and swimming go along really well, both biologically, but also in the fact of physics. So we're looking into options of doing swim science and science experiments in the water. So that's something to look forward to. But we do have year-round classes also, primarily where we pair up kids together to do semi-private lessons along with private classes.
That's really great. That's actually it's actually quite interesting, thinking about the sort of STEM aspect. What kind of things do you imagine doing there?
Well, you know, in our classes, we always we kind of engage the kids to learn. We find that, adaptation, something where when we learn to swim, we don't think about it so much, but we've kind of copied animal behavior when we're in the water. So we think about that. I think kids really enjoy thinking of themselves as an aquatic creature. And so that opens up a lot of possibilities to think about things outside ourselves. Also buoyancy, hydrodynamics, attitude in the water, posture. A lot of those things apply to traveling and working on things like buoyancy, negative buoyancy, positive buoyancy. I see a lot of science in that. I
Yeah.
always think it's pretty cool how NASA does a lot of experiments to go to space underwater. They actually have the largest pool, largest pool experiments they do underwater. So we always think that might be something interesting. We play around with it in our classes. We have a lot of kids who are smart and are doing a lot of things in their classrooms, and so why not bring that into the pool?
Yeah, that's actually pretty cool. Let's talk a little bit about, you mentioned it briefly, and that's fitness and stamina in
Yeah,
the water. Obviously, when you get a kid, on the most of the times they're probably not going to have any sort of water stamina or fitness or strength or
sure.
anything like that. So what kind of things do you do? How do you walk them through that process?
Well, definitely depends on each child, and that's what we do. We take each kid individually and work on their ability. But motor skill, using our body symmetrically is really important. So a lot of times kids are learning how to swim, and coordination is also really good for swimming. But engaging their feet, engaging their legs, creating a lot of propulsion through their body. We definitely focus a lot on leg strength, since legs are one of the strongest parts of our body. Our strongest muscles are in the legs. Stamina also comes with breathing. So breathing properly is a very important part of our process, and something that sometimes is overlooked by other places. We teach kids to roll to their back to go to breathe and find air. There's never a lack of air when we're on our back, and we can learn to breathe properly. And that leads us into doing backstroke. So conserving air, conserving energy is also one of the goals. And one of the tricks, that we teach kids is that we can swim, but then we can roll over and breathe. And so breathing patterns and all that really pays off, both physically but also mentally, so that they also learn to focus by taking breaths and taking the time and not having to rush through things.
Yeah.
So swimming is a very dynamic activity where you're learning how to move fast, but you're also having to slow down, regulate, adjust yourself, and that's really valuable.
And it's also, if you don't know how to swim, or you're not comfortable in the water, us being here in Texas, for example, being in the backyard and playing with our friends in the swimming pool is a big part of life, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. We find that swimming, for some, it's almost like an assimilation into our culture. We have fun in the pool. We don't have an ocean, but we have lakes, we have pools, and we definitely have a hot summer here in Texas. So swimming is one of the best ways to cool off, and doing it safely. We find that a lot of people want to learn to swim. They see the value in it, even when they travel abroad or they travel somewhere where they see that swimming is actually something that's going to be a fun activity. So definitely that's our goal, is helping people understand that it's a safety lesson, but it's also helping you have fun in different ways.
Right. Now, people watching this may not know, but Manny and Solari Swim School is one of our most recent customers here on Camps with Friends, and doing these videos, creating the blog content, the social media content that we do for you is a big part of what we do. And so, thinking about helping you rank for more keywords, being found by more parents. Let's actually talk a little bit about the different swim strokes. Let's talk about sort of each one individually. Maybe what the benefits of each strokes are, or anything like that. But let's just talk through, the freestyle, backstroke, breaststroke, and butterfly.
Sure. So there's definitely four main strokes. We see them play out during the Olympics in those four events. Those are the most efficient ways to swim, and we actually, we find that backstroke is really important to learn. We find that backstroke is probably the first stroke we really start learning properly. That way, the swimmer can gain access to oxygen while they're swimming. But we combine that with front stroke. Those two strokes are very similar. If you see them going about in the water, they're moving through the water in a similar way, just upside down or right side up, looking up at the sky or looking down to the floor. So the front stroke and the backstroke are bilateral strokes. They use the same motion of the arms and legs, and so they're very similar. Those two are the strokes that we go into our first three levels. And then once kids can learn to swim properly on their front and roll over to breathe, we also work into the breaststroke, which is the third stroke that we start engaging into. And we actually engage that stroke again through the backstroke. We call it the elementary backstroke, as many other places also call it. Some people may have heard of the chicken airplane pencil. So it's a stroke that develops through on the back. But then once we teach kids how to do the front stroke that way, that will turn into the breaststroke, which is similar to how a frog would move through the water, doing froggy legs, stretching and expanding, contracting and expanding. So that's the breaststroke, and a lot of that is geared through the water by the use of our hips and our head, and so we coordinate those movements. The breaststroke and the butterfly, which is the fourth stroke and probably the hardest one to learn, are also very similar. Those two undulate through the water using the hips, and then the arms are used at the same time, both once underwater or over the water for butterfly. So we see the similarities in those two pairs of strokes, and we approach them in that way. We also see that some kids are really natural sometimes, or more natural at swimming than others, and we find that they are doing the breaststroke without us teaching them. So it's a very interesting concept that somehow we already know how to move through the water. We just need to practice it and play around with that motion. Also, we do find that some kids are a little more rigid, some kids are a little more tense, and they may not have that freedom with their body in the water. But overall, practicing these things through time, we find that every child can learn all four strokes. They may not be the best at it, but we definitely see progression through learning all of them.
Yeah, yeah, that's really great. Manny, we're kind of coming to the end of our time here. Is there anything you want to say to the potential parents in and around the colony in Texas? Before we end here.
Well, we welcome you to try out our program. We definitely encourage you to take your child into swimming lessons once they are of age, once they are toddler level, definitely. And we are here for you if you need us. We are Solari Swim School.
Okay, great. Manny, I'm just going to end the recording and then we'll wrap up after that.